Stock the barracks and double the patrols. If Paros is sending them, I want to know the moment they make landfall.
Yes, Archon.
But Archon, please,
Xerxes,
the merchants have...
I understand your concerns. But protecting the town and the quarries is what's most important. You may all go. The meeting is over.
Alexios. How?
When I closed my eyes, I could still see you fall. I thought I had lost you.
Cassandra is still alive.
I have her, don't they? I rebuilt my life from ashes. Do you understand? And now you tell me you're alive. You're both alive. It's really you. It's not some trick of the gods.
I found you.
Your sister. We have to get her back.
She's too far gone.
I gave up on you both once. Never again.
What have you...
How did you...
I have a lot of questions.
I think we both do. But ask. I'll answer what I can.
I want to know about my real father.
How did you know?
I was told.
Nikolaos. You saw him.
In Megaris, yes.
Nikolaos was your father. He was the man who raised you. Until he took his Spartan duty too far.
He mentioned another. What can you tell me about him?
I always hoped you would never need to discover the truth. But there are things you need to know if we are to stop the cult.
What do you mean?
He sought me out before I knew your Nikolaos. I've not heard from him in a long time. What's wrong?
Soldiers from Paros just made landfall in the cove. A small force, maybe a dozen.
Malaka. Timo, gather the troops. Questions will have to wait, Lamb.
I want to help.
I assume you can use those weapons?
Better than when you last saw me?
Good. Come.
Who is attacking?
Paros, across the bay. It seems Skanos has finally grown tired of sharing the market trade.
Why now?
We've always had problems with Paros. I expected an attack, just not so soon.
I guess the time for talking is over.
Allies often forget their allegiances when opportunity beckons.
Who do you think you are?
Τι μου λυτράσε.
Why are you working with Sparta, given all that's happened?
Paros made an alliance with the Athenians, so they left me little choice.
You needed support.
A rivalry with Paros is one thing, but they turned it into a war. Their partnership with Athens was too much to weather for Naxos alone. There's always been a rivalry between the islands. After all, Naxos used to control Paros and Andros. They're envious of our craftsmen, too.
And now?
They think they deserve expansion. Their oligarch demands their wings spread wide. But we'll clip their wings before that happens.
They don't know who they're up against.
You remind me of Nikolaos. You fight just like him. Ruthless and cunning. He would be proud.
I've never forgotten what you both taught me. I had a good education.
I wanted you to be unstoppable. And you are.
What happened to you in Argolis after that night?
I found your sister and rushed to a young doctor's apprentice, Hippocrates. I thought I'd lost you. I wasn't ready to lose you both.
I spoke with him recently. That night still haunts him.
I was heartbroken when the healers in Asclepios told me Cassandra was dead. The two of you were my whole world.
But she did live. They lied to you.
They must have realized she was special and handed her over to the cult.
She's been brainwashed. She believes she's doing what's right.
Some have successfully abandoned the cult. We could bring her back.
We owe it to her to try. I don't understand why the cult targeted our family.
There are many reasons, Lam.
What did we ever do to them?
Now that we're reunited, it's more a question of what we could do to them.
They fear us.
Your ancestors have been a thorn in their side for generations. They've decided we need to be eliminated to ensure their plans come to fruition.
The cult will pay for all they've done to our family and the Greek world.
You are mighty, Lam, but you cannot defeat that beast with sword and spear alone.
I'll use any weapon I can to make them suffer as we have. I know you left Sparta, but how did you end up on this island?
I couldn't stand by Nikolaos after what he did. I had to get out of Sparta.
So why here?
I saw an opportunity to help people, to grow something. I was elected to rule and protect this island from those who would ruin what we've built.
You've done some incredible things. Naxos is lucky to have you as its leader.
It's not been without its difficulties, but I'm proud of what we've achieved.
It's a pity there aren't more leaders like you. Let's continue this discussion somewhere the smell of death doesn't linger.
Ride with me.
Better than sending soldiers. There's no treaty?
Maybe there was, but it's long over. Now there's no mistaking them for anything but the enemy.
An enemy I could help you defeat.
We'll discuss that later. But I think you're right.
Yeah!
Τι λαμβάνει η χώρα? Όλη στιγμή παρέχεις.
The temple's coming along, Evandros.
It will stay in ruins if we don't secure more donations. Soldiers can't get all the funds.
They can if you don't want the temple destroyed by our enemy. But I'll see what I can do.
It's a good deed restarting construction. Ligdamis was a great man who deserves reverence.
His battles against corruption and oligarchy are lessons we all should remember. I do intend to finish the temple.
Thank you, Phoenix.
What a strange day it has been.
But a good one.
I've certainly had worse.
Me too.
You have grown into a remarkable man, but I see the burden you carry on your shoulders.
Finding you has lessened it, I think.
I'm glad, but I have wondered why the gods chose to reunite us now.
I think they felt it was about time our family found each other again.
If we want to be truly united, we have to find Cassandra and rescue her from the cult's grasp.
They are the source of all our pain, and they will cause more to many others unless we act.
I put that life behind me the moment I left Sparta. I have Naxos to worry about now.
Let me help you here. We can safeguard Naxos, and then hunt down the cult together.
Myrrine, the symposium is about to start.
By the gods. I'm sorry, my sweet. I forgot. Prepare the horses. I'll be out shortly.
The symposium?
I need to show the people their leader is strong and in control. Sometimes the face we show to the world needs to be one of strength, despite the chaos we harbor beneath. I will help you stop the cult, but before I can leave Naxos, I have to ensure it will survive without me.
What do you need?
Paros has to be dealt with. We need to weaken their position. Once they're vulnerable, they will make a reckless decision and we will strike.
What did you have in mind?
We must force the Paros fleet to engage us and destroy it. But my admiral, Aeneas, is missing. His ship was sailing for Paros to engage in peace talks, and he never returned.
Don't worry. I'll find him.
If you need me, I'll be at the symposium. Although, try to look less intimidating should you choose to pay me a visit.
I'm here to see Socrates.
Alexios!
You know who I am?
Of course I do. Socrates never stops talking about you.
And you are...
His wife, of course. I'm Xanthippe.
Socrates never told me he had a wife.
Typical. The only time he's quiet is when he's eating. Yet he can't find time to mention me.
So, where is Socrates? I got a note that said to meet him here.
That's what I'd like to know. He went to another symposium last night, and he didn't come home after.
Sounds like a good place to start looking.
I was just about to head there myself. Come, keep me company.
How long have you and Socrates been married?
It's been quite some time now.
What is it about him that you love so much?
Love is not the word I'd use. He frustrates me to no end.
That doesn't surprise me.
Even so, it's worth the frustration. His mind is like no other. Not to mention, he's quite a good number.
That's not something I wanted to picture. It must be why Alcibiades seems so infatuated with him.
Don't mention that name around me. Always coming by drunk, sending Socrates gifts like giant cakes.
I didn't know.
It's fine.
Είστε αυτοί οι όπλησης, οχλείς.
Xanthippe, over here! Xanthippe!
What is it?
Socrates! They took him away. They said he was under arrest.
For what?
I have no idea. We were just talking after the symposium. I'd say go ask him yourself, but he'll be guarded. They took him southeast of here.
That fool! I knew this would happen to him one day.
I'll find him. Don't worry.
This is his doing. It's best to let these things run their course.
Alexios, what are you doing here?
I could ask you the same.
Well, here I am. Though I'm more curious about how you are here. The guards let you in?
We've known each other a long time now. You know how I got in here.
You've taught me that the blade can sometimes be necessary. But I don't think this was one of those times.
I was worried about you.
Your care is appreciated, but if you had waited only a bit longer, I'm sure my trial would have taken place and I'd be free.
You're not going to trial. We're getting you out of here.
I understand your concern, but what good would escaping do other than prove I'm guilty? No. In fact, I'm looking forward to this trial.
What if they find you guilty? And your punishment is severe?
That will never happen. I'll convince them I deserve to go free. You'll see.
What were you arrested for?
I haven't the slightest idea.
And that doesn't bother you?
Sometimes understanding does not come at the moment we would like. More importantly, this is giving me the necessary time to think.
About...
I went to see the Pythia, and she told me there is none wiser than me. An intriguing thought, and one I've been unable to stop thinking about.
Socrates, the Pythia is...
It matters not what you believe she is or she isn't. I must examine not only her words, but my own self as well. I know nothing, so how could I be called wise?
What does that have to do with being locked up?
I believe my time here and this trial may help me find the answer. I will be fine. Trust me.
I've known you for a while now.
That's true.
And you'd call us friends?
I would.
And friends share important things with one another. Is that so?
It is.
Then how did I not know you were married? From what you just said, that means either we're not friends, or that friends don't share with one another. So, which is it?
I've wondered how much of our conversation you've taken to heart. And now, I have my answer.
Were you doing anything when you got arrested?
If speaking my mind is worth imprisonment, then I suppose I was.
In the future, you may want to be more careful.
You risk life and limb every time you draw your blade. Just because it's my tongue that is sharp, doesn't mean I'm not prepared to face the consequences of using it.
Since you won't leave with me, I'll go see the Pythia myself.
That's not necessary.
I'll find out why she told you that. I won't let you go to trial, even if you think you'll be found innocent.
Ah, Alexios, you!
I'll come back when I have what I need.
Oh no, not you.
You remember me?
Just go. I'm too old for this.
There might be a bit of blood when you go upstairs.
You again?
I'm here for a different reason.
After last time, they tortured me. I thought they were going to kill me, just like I told you. It hurt so badly, I begged for death.
I didn't mean for that to happen.
Just hurry, and tell me what you want.
You told Socrates something, and I want to know why.
Questioning why the Pythia speaks is a strange thing.
I know why you speak, and I know who controls your voice. Tell me why the cult had you tell Socrates he's the wisest.
The cult didn't tell me to say that. I did that on my own.
The cult wouldn't allow you to do that.
Which is why I was very careful. I seek Socrates as an ally, but simply asking him to help wouldn't have worked.
An ally? For what?
I know much of Socrates. Not only has he visited me often, but his students do as well.
Get to the point.
You know the gods don't speak through me. I feel Socrates is the one who can convince others of this. If he succeeds, the cult will have no more need for me.
So you're hoping he comes to the conclusion that the gods don't exist?
It matters not if Socrates believes they exist. He needs simply to doubt that the gods speak through me.
I understand why you think Socrates can help, but why tell him he's the wisest?
He'll delve into what it means to be wisest. It's my hope he'll conclude he's not, and therefore doubt the words of the gods.
If you just told him your words aren't from the gods, wouldn't that serve the same purpose? And much quicker?
Socrates is not the type to desire the answer so easily. He'll have more drive when he finds the answer on his own.
This is getting complicated.
Whatever you do, you can't tell Socrates.
I understand. He has to come to the answer on his own.
Exactly. Although, if you truly wish to help Socrates, a student of his came by not long before you. He seemed distraught.
Distraught?
He was clutching a book tightly to his chest and kept looking over his shoulder. He told me he was going into a tomb nearby until things were safe.
Thank you. I'll find him. You don't need to be scared now. I'm not with them.
That doesn't mean you won't kill me. You just want this for yourself.
I'm a friend of Socrates.
You are? Prove it!
Socrates is one of the most frustrating people I've ever known. He just talks and talks and talks. And it feels like he asks questions just so he can continue talking and talking and talking.
What you call frustrating, I call brilliant. But it's clear you know him well.
Why were those men after you?
For some reason, they wanted these writings of Socrates's. Well, I wrote them, but it's all his words.
That seems like a strange thing to want.
One of them had a big mouth. He mentioned something about the priest at the sanctuary of Athena Pronea. He said this was the final thing they needed to get rid of Socrates.
What drew you to Socrates?
I've never met a man like him, and I don't think I ever will again. Every day with him is one worth waking up for.
I've always been curious. What does Socrates teach you?
So much. Follow him around for an entire day and you won't be able to sleep. Your mind will be so aflutter with thoughts.
I'm not sure I'd last a whole day with him. I'll take care of the priests.
Thank you. And, well, please, give this to Socrates. It hurts me to say this after all I've learned from him, but I have a family. I can't risk being caught up in whatever this is.
So you're going to stop being his student?
It feels I have no choice. Maybe one day that will change.
I'll be sure to give him the writings.
Thank you. Make sure he stays safe. The world will be a worse place without him in it.
Do not students take what they learn from their teachers? What then if the teacher is wrong? Does that not simply perpetuate these wrong teachings amongst future generations?
You assume the students aren't wise enough to understand the flaws of the teacher. Think of those who came before us. First Thales, then his student Anaximandros, and then Anaximenes. Without the teachings of those before him, it's safe to say Anaximenes would not have reached the conclusions he did.
I don't think that's true at all. Oh, perhaps this new phase can offer a different perspective.
A student gets to take all the knowledge of their teacher without needing to come up with answers themselves. If they're smart, they should surpass those they studied under.
An astute observation. The time saved by receiving the knowledge allows the student not only to expand on the ideas, but to come up with more of their own. But what if the student expands on ideas without first seeking the truth behind them?
If a student asks questions before first learning from their teacher, they've not only failed their teacher, but themselves.
Yes, and more would do well to challenge what they hear.
Your appearance betrays you, Mystios. Clearly, you've taken on a teacher of your own.
Something like that. He's the reason I'm here. Socrates needs your help.
Socrates? Ha! If it's another debate you want, it will be hard for us to decide who hates that man more. Why would we help him?
It doesn't matter if he's your worst enemy. If they're willing to imprison someone like Socrates only for his words, what's to say they won't do the same to you?
So, you want us to help out of fear of being imprisoned ourselves?
I don't care why you help. If I hadn't said his name, would you think it was right Socrates was locked up?
If it's as you say, and it was for his words, then no.
And aren't you afraid it could happen to you too?
Of course. If we can't speak our minds, what else are we to do?
If you believe that, then you should help.
Fine, fine. You've made your point, and you've made it well. Socrates deserves our help, but we don't give it lightly.
That makes it worth even more.
We'll be on our way then. We'll gather some others as well. Make sure our voices are heard. Believe it or not, we're pretty good at causing a scene.
If you're like Socrates, that's not hard to believe.
Wow, I've never seen someone convince them so easily before.
Is that so? I guess I should feel proud. I'm surprised to see a child here.
Is there an age at which it would suddenly be okay to debate with them? What then of the night before I turned that age? Should we be prevented from doing what we wish due to the world's view of us?
I regret doubting you at all.
Thank you. There are few things greater than gaining the understanding of another.
On that, we disagree.
Disagreements can lead to even more understanding.
You're the first kid I've met who'd rather debate than play.
Don't tell the others, but I'm envious that you're a student of Socrates. I hope one day to be as well.
You're on the right path. What's your name?
Aristocles. Although I've never liked that name much.
It does sound like countless others I've heard around Athens. Why not choose another?
I can do that? Huh. My brother always had a problem saying my name, so he called me Plato instead. Perhaps I'll use that.
I like it.
Thank you. Well, I better hurry after the others. Here!